Up next, we have a first reading of the PUD. Ms. Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just as a reminder, this is the first reading for the Planned Unit Development Ordinance. That's Londonderry Zoning Ordinance, Section 5.2. So back in July, you'll recall that the direction of the council was to amend this portion of our zoning ordinance. So staff, along with the planning board, took a comprehensive review of the existing ordinance, also used guidance from the American Planning Association, applicable state laws, and then comparable ordinances from our peer communities. We've incorporated that into the draft that's before you. The planning board held 3 work sessions along with a public hearing. So I think it's fair to say that a lot of time and effort was spent by staff and the board on this to get it to you where it is today. And that vote from the planning board to move it to you was done on March 23rd. And the intent behind that was to get it in front of you, get your feedback, and then hopefully schedule a public hearing. Just a note, I have not scheduled the hearing for this yet. I'm not sure if you have additional feedback that may or may not need to be incorporated. So we would need time to do that if you do, but
I
that would
think-
be the next step.
Councilor Faber wanted to give you some feedback.
Yeah, I do have one thing, after poring over this, and I know we pored over it for months on the planning board, and I think we really vetted it, but I do see one thing that I think we should change in here. So it's on page 6, under Part C, ownership. So it says, PUD shall be unified ownership at the time of application where multiple ownership exists, subject to binding agreement. I think we should take out the part where it says shall be under unified ownership at the time where multiple ownerships exists, because I think this should be subject to everybody, multiple owners or not. We should have a development agreement paired with a PUD. Just because you're a single owner, I don't think you should get out of having a development agreement. So that would be my suggested change.
So just so I got you straight, so you would like to change the part where it states that if they're not under one ownership, irregardless of ownership, you need
Irregardless
development.
of ownership, they're subject to a development
Yep.
agreement.
Got it.
So that the way it reads right now, if you're a single owner, you do not have to have a development agreement, and I think we shouldn't be doing that. That's not restrictive enough.
Okay.
Anybody else want to add? Deb, go ahead.
I have 4 pages,
Good.
minimal. I didn't get into the details. These are the 11 fixes with, I don't know if you want to go through all of
do.
this tonight.
Do. I want to get it out there so that Ms. Karen, who's worked very hard on this, she can
Yeah.
take all of our feedback and.
I did give it to the planning board.
And
I
it's
went
on,
to that
it's on the
meeting.
website too.
Yeah.
Just, can I
I-
just so I
Please.
I can't hear
sent the
you.
council, and it's on the website for those who may not know, the summary document that was given to the planning board that outlines the changes, the draft meeting minutes from the 23rd, which have what I believe Councilor Paul is referring to for her comments, as well as comments that were received from other members of the public at that hearing, appended to those minutes. And then obviously the current ordinance that we're amending.
So what you're going to
So-
present, she's already seen. I just.
Yeah,
Okay.
I brought it to the
Okay.
planning board. I brought it up. I sent it to all of them. Kelly, I had it put into the minutes. I thought you guys would have read it. I don't know if you want to go through it. There is a lot, and I'm not exactly sure how to address these changes, or at least a discussion on them,
Yeah, why
each
don't-
one.
Why don't you go through the ones you feel are important and.
Well, they're all important
Okay.
to me. That's why I brought them here. So it says, 1, to close a couple of the loops that I found. Under the draft language, it says partial separated by a road.
Where are you talking about, Deb, just so I can follow
This
you?
is the problem.
Okay, just so I can. Yeah.
Hold on. That's why I had hoped that you guys would have looked at it.
I've read through it.
Number 1. I should have brought.
I read through it. I just want the public to understand.
Yeah.
That's all.
I just wanted,
Yeah.
So you didn't think any of these were worthwhile corrections?
I think, and we talked about it when I was on the planning board, and we talked about it with the planning board, because we discussed those changes then, and we decided not to make them. I think we've heavily vetted this document all the way throughout. And so I didn't think that we, at this point in time, needed to vet it any further.
I really disagree, especially on the establishment of the open space should be at least, 40%. I also disagree with the density stuff. I disagree with water and groundwater protection. I wanted to change, like on traffic mitigation. It says not optional, transportation improvements may be required, that's 5.2.9. I wanted it to fix to say shall be required, not may, it should be shall. They should have to do a traffic mediation, should be mandatory. And I think that the building requirements things, here's one here, strengthen phrasing requirements. The draft says a substantial portion of the commercial must be built first. That should be changed. It
Mr.
should
Chair,
say no more than
normally a first reading,
25%
we
of the
don't go through
rental
this, and
units
this is
should
only
be
done at
done.
a public hearing.
Okay. I was just giving her the leeway to open it up, says,
I just think that if all of you don't mind, I mean, I'll email it to all of you. Do not respond to the email. You can look at it.
okay,
It's a lot easier to do it on your own, but I really think that, like, no more than 25% of the rental units should be done before, at least 40% of the commercial is built, so that we have a better balance on these things. And what were the teeth to it? Failure to meet the phasing requirements. What is going to happen? What would we do? And I think that could be tighter. I think there's a lot of loopholes, and I know they wanted to keep it loosey-goosey, but in my mind, if this document is very tight and solid, not so tight that it's going to open us up to lawsuits, but tight so that the developer can look at it and say, okay, I can build a chair. These are the requirements around the chair, and there's so many different ways to build a chair, 3 feet high, 20 feet wide. So they don't have to keep going back and forth to their engineers. That costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. If they have a better understanding of what we're looking for in this PUD and how we want it to function, being more specific and more clear, then that shortens the whole building time. There's less going back, less cost to them, and we're happy, they're happy, and it's moving through quicker. That was my thought about this. I know everybody says we don't want to be too tight and but you have to. You can't just say you can build this or that. No. And I know there are a lot of regs, but this is a very specific thing, and we're giving a lot of lenience because they're doing such high density. It really should be of the benefit of both the taxpayer and the builder, and I think they would appreciate it as well. I talked to a couple of developers.
so I read what you sent. If you want to send it to the entire council, we can look it over, and then we can discuss it in the next meeting. And Dan, you had a quick question, too.
Oh, I was just asking if we could get a copy of this redlined as far as what the changes
So
are.
my understanding was this document was completely rewritten,
Okay.
and that's why it's not a red line document, but I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah, this question's come up quite a bit, so
Yeah.
there is no red line. I literally started from a blank page because as I tried to do that, it was extremely confusing, even for me as the person
Okay.
writing it, because it was quite the overhaul. But that summary document that's dated from October, I believe, goes section by section as to what was changed in each of those sections.
Thank you, Kelly.
John, you had a quick question. What do you-
So, no, I just wanted to state, I'd also recommend that besides looking through these, you look through the planning board, because we did discuss some of these things here. And I think, Deb, some of those things can be addressed within the development agreement, too, as well. So that's not prohibiting some of these things from being done.
I'm not sure on that.
All right. So we do not, let's see, we do not need to make.
Mr. Chair, if
Need
I
to
could.
schedule
Oh,
that.
please, go ahead.
So if you're done discussing,
Yep.
just what I need from you is confirmation of a public hearing,
Absolutely.
and the next available would be May 4th,
Okay,
so I'll notice that accordingly.
that would be great.
So we're gonna address her concerns.
Yep, she's gonna
next
email it
meeting.
out to us, and then we'll email it.
Next
One
meeting.
more point. We have the
Yep.
public comment. We make changes or not.
Yep.
Then do we vote on it, or does it have to go back to planning? They look at what we did and they vote on it. Where is the final vote?
If we vote to adopt it, then that's the final vote. It
That's
does-
the final
It only
vote?
goes back to planning if we send it back to planning.
Just two, if
Okay.
I may, just two things on that. So you have the final vote. If it is a significant substantial change to what was legally noticed, because in the instance where we have a zoning amendment, a zoning change, it has to be noticed a particular way. So if it's substantive, then we should renotice it, updated with the changes, and then have another hearing. So there's opportunity for the public to review it and then come to that.
Okay. Thank you.
And Kelly, I just want to make sure if there's changes that people may want to see or not, they may need to go back to your staff and with legal to make sure that they're actually legal changes that can be done, correct?
Yeah, again, just to the point about how significant the changes are, that may be needed. If it's, kind of a little bit of wordsmithing, we can do that in real time, but, yeah,
Thank
So we'd be looking at moving this to the May 4th meeting.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
Just to be clear, so we're making one change under the definition of ownership. So that change is going to be put in the draft that goes before the public hearing. That's the only change, correct?
Is everyone fine with that change?
But then we still get an opportunity.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
get it
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
last
yeah.
sheet,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. You do have something else, Dan, or are you good?
I'm just confused because if you're going to make changes and you've already noticed it, now how does that affect it?
So I didn't notice it for a hearing for this exact reason, because I wasn't sure if you were going to have changes this evening that would require that.
But if we're meeting the next meeting, Mr. Chair, if we're meeting at the next meeting and we're going to discuss Councilor Paul's changes that she wants to do, is that going to impact your notice?
Yes.
Not,
It will.
yes, not, I mean,
If we
Have a
change
different
it.
draft. If you go into.
if you
and
formally
put-
accept her changes,
And frankly, we should
then
be
I will have to
discussing those
renotice it.
changes at the public hearing. We shouldn't be discussing them in the first hearing. There's a
No,
process to
actually, if
this.
you want to make changes, now is the time to do it. So the draft that goes before, the people out there who are going to make comment know what it is they're going to comment on.
Exactly.
So if you want to make changes, you should do that now. That doesn't preclude you at the public hearing, once you hear public comment, to make more changes, go back out again, rehear it, and then people will be able to make comment on those written changes. That is how the process goes, because as Kelly indicated, if you go to public hearing, you make substantial changes, people should have the opportunity to come back and comment on it. And that'll avoid legal issues later on in the process.
Mr. Chair, can I suggest that we hold off on posting the notice for public hearing until after we have our next meeting to see if we make any changes? So that way there, when they notice the hearing, we have the correct information?
If we did that, Ms. Karen, would it push it off to the 18th meeting? Or could we still do it on the 4th?
So you would be looking to have another discussion on April 20th? I would still wait. It would have to push to the 18th, based on the timing of when I'd have to get legal out. And of course, depending on what you do for changes, if any. So yes. Next discussion, April 20, and then the hearing tentative for May 18th.
Because Sean suggested a change, but we didn't vote on a change or all agree on it, so.
Is there anyone that disagrees with
I
it?
asked
No,
Alan.
no, I'm not saying I disagree with it, Sean. I'm just saying there could be other changes too, you know?
Yeah, I just thought that was quick and simple. That's the reason I brought that up.
Oh, I agree with it. I'm not saying it's not a good thing.
And I had brought that up at the planning board meeting about the agreements.
Okay. So, the direction we're gonna give, I'm looking at the board here, we wanna have her wait to post the public hearing?
I would until,
Yeah,
see,
th-
let's
this way at
see
least
what
you guys
happens
can
next
look
week.
at what
I
I
mean,
did.
next meeting. Doesn't hurt.
All right,
One more.
are we fine with that as a board?
So just to be super clear, I'm making the change to Counselor Faber's.
Yes.
Yes,
You would
Yep.
consent on that?
Yep.
Yes.
yes.
And then so I'm not gonna notice that as a hearing. April 20 will be another discussion. And I'll wait to see what you all decide from there. Tentative public hearing on May 18th.
Sounds good.
Yes.
And you do all have what Counselor Paul's referring to for her comments.
And I can provide a red line if you guys all want it.
I'm good. I read it. I'm all set, but
I can
Is
get,
everyone okay?
yeah, red line.
Okay.
Do you want the red line?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.